Hello, welcome. Today we're going to paint Acres Away. And to paint this painting, we will need two different size brushes. We have our medium size flat brush and we have our small round detail brush. So I will guide you which ones to use when. Also, you should have your cup of water and a paper towel to clean your brushes off when you're going from one color to the next. When we are not using the brush, make sure to leave it in the water. It's a good practice and make it last a lot longer. So without further ado, we were going to get started. So the first thing we're going to do is start on the background. So we're going to make a light blue with our big brush. So I'm going to take some white, I'm going to take some blue, mix it together. You're going to need quite a bit. We got a blue sky and blue water, lots of blue. Okay, so I'm not mixing it perfectly. I like to just kind of sort of mix, just because I like some streaks of some white in there too. So once you have your light blue, you're going to start filling in this whole background with diagonal strokes. So it's going to just be from the right down to the left. I'm just going to go back and forth just like this. And I'm going to cover the whole background except for just these little bottom corners I'm going to leave open. But besides that, this whole thing is going to be covered. Light blue. So notice I'm just keeping with the same strokes. They're all at a diagonal. And you can kind of see just the streaks because I didn't mix it perfectly. I love my streaks. So I'm not going to fill in this corner completely, right? We're going to leave a little bit more open. All right, so once you're done putting in this light blue background, we left the left and right corners pretty open. Now I'm just going to go to a straight blue. And with the same strokes, I'm going to fill in the bottom left corner and the bottom right corner. It doesn't have to be a perfect little triangle of filling in. See, I'm just kind of blending it in just to fill in the space, and it's overlapping just a bit. I mean, remember, this is water, right? So it's really free flowing. There's a lot of different tones. So just have fun with it. So just going about halfway up, every so often, I'm just going to add some more blue streaks in. Just a few more here and there to make it a little deeper and darker. Yeah, right here. So now I'm going to mix my light blue with a little bit of green. So I'm going to get a teal color. So I have my blue, just a little bit of white, and I'm going to, if you don't have green, just do like a little dot of yellow. And that's going to help out too. It's kind of like a little bit of a teal color. And with that color, I'm going to put in just the basis of my water. So about a third of the way down from the top, I'm going to make a little mark. Okay, it's about a third of the way down. Same thing on the right, third of the way down, making it a little mark. Doesn't have to be exact. And we're just going to connect them just by doing little scoops like this. Just like that. So you just have a kind of a water line going on. Once you have your water line, I'm going to go right here to my little scoops. And I'm just going to start blending down into my water this really cool teal color. Just blending it in. So again, I'm starting right here on my scoops, blending it right into the water. So we're starting to get this really cool effect going on with our different tones. So you have light blue, you have straight blue, and now we have this really cool teal color. And I'm just going to pull through now just in various spots in my water, just to your liking. And if you ever add too much of a certain tone, you could always go back, either add more straight blue or more light blue or more teal, whatever the color is that you are wanting more of. You could just overlap. Now I'm just gonna add some straight blue on here, make it a little darker right here. I mean, really just whatever you want. But see how big my strokes are? I don't want to see any little lines going through. It's gonna be completely covered. We should have all different tones going on. So once you have your water filled in, you have your sky, remember it's all going the same direction, then you're gonna go back to your straight blue, you're still with your medium brush, and then just every so often, I'm just gonna add a little bit of an accent to these waves, just a little bit of a blue accent right there on the waves. And now I'm just gonna kind of pull it through just a little bit. Every so often, you can just add just a little bit of the blue. All right, so once you have the sky and the water done, we're gonna now work on our anchor. And our rope, I should say. So our rope first. So we're going to put in our rope before we go ahead and put in our anchor. So if you notice, the rope is kind of in a very thin S, right? So it starts at the top right corner, and it makes a little S, and it goes to about a third of the way, pretty much where the water is, right? So with our small brush, we're going to dip it in the brown. With our small brush, we're going to make just a little bit lighter brown. So I'm going to have my brown, I'm going to dip it with a little bit of white, just a little bit. I want to still keep that deep color. I just don't want it to be super, super dark. Okay, so from here, I'm going to make a little dot just so I know where to start in the top right corner. And I'm going to make this long S, and it's going to stop about a third of the way down. That's going to be the skeleton of my rope. So now we're going to add texture to our rope. So I'm just going to start doing these little lines, just about an inch long or so, depending how big your canvas is. And they're right next to each other. And they first go straight down, but now they're going to follow this curve, right? So it's going to go pretty much perpendicular to this curve. It's going to be a slight diagonal, but so there's just these little dashes that are just following the shape of your rope. All right, so now I'm going to give a little bit more definition to my rope. So I'm going to take my little brush, and I mixed a little bit of brown, yellow, and white. So more yellow and white than brown, just to make this lighter color. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hug each one of my dashes. So I'm going to start on the top. I'm going to outline the top. I'm going to curve down for each one. So we're mimicking the shape of our rope. So for each little piece, I'm curving down and bringing it around. Like, see, just like that, it's like a little curve, right? So I'm going around the top, along the left side, and then under the next one on the right. So starting to give it this kind of rope look. Over and under, over and under. Around, down, and under. Scoop. Around the top, down and under. So it's kind of softening the edges of your dashes at the same time as it's giving it a highlight. So it's giving it some definition, right? So now it's a little bit more like a rope than it was before. So around the top, down and around, top, down and around, scoop, scoop. So just like that, it's a little bit more of a rope. So I'm going to go back. I'm just going to kind of blend it down into each piece so it's not such a harsh line. So I'm just softening the line a little bit. I'm blending it into the brown. So what that means is wherever you see, I'm going to bring this up closer, wherever you see a harsh line, I'm going to just go over where that lighter color and the darker color meet, and it's just softening it up just a little bit. Just blends it in. Okay, just softens it right up. So if you need some more paint to blend it in, I'm just using that same original brown color to blend in that newer light color that we put in. So it's just softening it, that's all. But you still want to make sure to see the definition going on. Okay, so we have part of our rope going, right? It's a little weathered from being out in the ocean. So we're going to go back to our rope later on. So we're going to leave it there for now. And we're going to start working on our anchor. So with our small brush, we're going to dip it in the black. And you want to make it look like the rope is hugging the circle part of the anchor. Okay, so let me just show you right here, that top part. You want to make sure that it looks like it's hugging it, right? So the way that you make that illusion is we're going to make that circle, but we're going to start just a little bit in. It's not going to start at the edge. It's going to start a little bit in. And you want to be always really light to the touch whenever you want to make a thin line, especially when you're using black, because it could get crazy really quick. So I'm very light to the touch, so I'm gonna have a nice thin line. I'm leaning my pinky on the canvas, and the best I can, I'm gonna make my first, this is gonna be the inner circle of the anchor. So it's not gonna be perfect, right? But it's just gonna be just a little bit in. So now I'm gonna make my centerpiece, right? The actual center part of the anchor, it goes at a diagonal. So it actually, the tip actually comes in from the left, just about a quarter of the way in, and then about an inch or so up. That's gonna be the point. So I'm gonna make a little dot right here so I know where the point is. Okay, so it was about a quarter of the way in, about an inch or two up, depending on how big your canvas is. I can make mine even a little lower, I'll make it more intense. Smaller tip, okay. So now I'm going to go back up to my circle, and I want to make a diagonal line to connect it. So I need to make sure that it's at a nice diagonal. So I want to start it just right about here, right here at the, a little bit less than the center, right? I'm gonna go a little bit further over to the left of center. I'm gonna lightly bring it down, all the way down to my dot. So you have a light line going down. We're gonna thicken this up later. We're just putting in the bones. So don't worry if it's not exact, it's a little crazy. Promise you our anchor is gonna be much thicker. All right, so from there we gotta do the point of the anchor, right? So it's kind of like a wide V. So I'm gonna start here at the bottom point, that diagonal line that we just did, and I'm gonna start curving it up, and I'm gonna stop about a little bit more than a quarter of the way in. So right about here, right? So a little bit more than a quarter of the way in, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna curve up, and stop right about there. Now I'm going to do the same thing, but only on the left. So I'm going to curve up. This one you want it to be about the same, right? So it's going to be kind of like a V. So try to do the best you can to keep it pretty much the same on the other side. As best as you can. So now on each end of the V, we're going to do an upside down V, right? So I'm just going to do a little triangle. So I'm going to start a little bit higher up. It's going to be an upside down V. It's going to be a little bit of a space in between. Do the same thing down here. A little space and an upside down V. So this is the bones of our anchor. The next part isn't too crazy because we already got the bones in, right? We just have to thicken it up. So now I'm going to go back to my circle that I originally did, and I'm going to make it a little thicker. So you could always make it bigger. It's harder to go smaller. So I'm just going to go a little bit further up into my rope. And I'm going to go parallel around my circle, all the way around, all the way around. Like so. And again, you could always make it thicker. It's easy to do. All right, so now we have this guy right here. So you want to make it pretty thick. So we're going to start on the left side of it. And we're going to go out just a little. And I'm going to go parallel all the way down. Remember, we could always go back and make it thicker. We're just doing the initial part. Filling it in is the easy part. So we did the left side, now we're going to do the right side, going out just a little, same distance. I'm going to go down, 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 down. Parallel as best you can. All the way down to the point, okay? Now from there, we also want to do the same thing with these guys. We want to thicken these guys up. So same thing. We're going to go from our point, you might want to go a little bit further down to the point, and then I'm going to thicken it up, going all the way up. And same thing on the other side, just a little bit. And on the left, thicken, thicken. And same thing on the right. So now with these points, you want to bring them up to attach to these thickened parts, right? So it's going to be a little diagonal, just like that. So now they're attached, little diagonal, okay? The other thing is this anchor actually goes up a little bit. So right about a little bit more than halfway down, it's going to start to curve and connect to our center. Same thing, a little bit more than halfway, curve, connect to the center, just like that. Okay, so we're getting the bones in. All right, the other thing we need to do is we need to add our little cross section here. So about 2 inches down from our circle, we're just going to do a perpendicular line. It's going to go right through the middle, and it's going to stop about the same width as your circle, maybe a little bit further out, right? But not too much further. Okay. From there, I'm just going to slightly curve the sides, however thick you want it to be. So curve the sides and then bring it across. So now we're going to take our little brush and we're going to fill in anywhere that has little areas that are hard to fill in with a bigger brush, like these points. But besides that, I'm going to go back to my big brush and just fill in this whole anchor with black. And don't worry about perfection with this. This is just a cute, fun painting. It's meant to be a little whimsical and playful. We're going to add some bubbles in there. So lucky for us, it's part of the style for it to not be exact. Just keep it fun. We're going around, filling it in. All right. So while we let our anchor dry, we're gonna go back to our water and we're gonna start adding all these cool little bubbles. If you notice, a lot of them are kind of in the top and then just a few of them are down and they're different colors. We got green, we got teal, we got blue, we got white. So there's all different colors going on, different layers. So the first layer we're gonna work on is the green. So it's a little bit more of a green than a teal, right? So it's gonna be a little bit more yellow in there. So yellow, blue, mix it together. And then all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add these little circles. Some are gonna be above the water, some are gonna be below, and they're gonna be a little bigger. Got all sorts of different guys, just all over the place, wherever you wanna put them. So I'm putting them in just kind of a little spiral. So they're not even perfect circles, they're not perfectly filled in. Like I said, it's really whimsical. It's really fun. You just gotta add a little bit of circles here and there. Don't stress out. I'll put some here. And then maybe one down here. I mean, you just add them wherever you want. I'm gonna add some blue ones, because why not? Another little guy up here. Maybe up here. Maybe some in the water. They kind of overlap a little bit. Really wherever you want. And I'm gonna add some white. You guys some circles of your own or some little guys. Okay. So just a few here and there, however many you like. I like getting a lot. Now I'm going to go back up to the rope and I'm going to add just a little bit of a highlight, right? So we already did our different tone. We had two different tones going on. And now I'm going to just really go in there and add a little bit of a pop, right, with our white. So the white's just going to go just a little bit on the top. So it's like a little bit of a curve. So around the top on the left side. But you don't even need to do it every single time, just every so often, and it adds a really cool effect. And some parts I have a little bit more of a white than others, that's okay. And every so often you can pull it through. So it comes on the other side. Just a little bit. Give a nice highlight. This guy got a little crazy. I'm gonna go back with some of my color. If you ever get too crazy with the color, just go back and add a little bit more of that darker tone, softens it up a little bit. Okay, so now we're gonna go and put in the highlight to our anchor. So in the anchor, or have white going, and it really gives it that cool effect, and it also helps correct any kind of mistakes or whoopsies you made. It messes with the eye. So we're with our little brush, we're going to dip it in the white, and we're first going to pull it along just the left half of the left side. So if you could just imagine to cut your circle right in half, just that top left side of your circle. Okay, and I'm going to go in all the way to the middle of the circle. So I just did the left side, and then within the left side, I only went in halfway, so only the left side of the left side. So now I'm going to do the opposite thing now on the right side. So it's going to be on the left side, but it's only down here on the right. So it's going to be the inner circle. And again, only halfway. So halfway on the top and then halfway on the bottom. So now we're going to move on, going down from our circle. Now we're just going to do a light line going right through the center, going all the way down. I'm going to skip this guy right here, a little crisscross, but all the way down, all the way, all the way, all the way to the point. It's just a white line going all the way down. And you can see it's not super thick. I mean, there's places where it's a little thicker than others. Now we're going to go to this perpendicular guy, and we're just going to lightly outline just the left side right here, just that left little scoop, and then I'm going to just pull through some white, mainly on this left side, but I'm just going to pull it down from that line I just put in. See, I'm just kind of wisping it in. It's not being completely filled in, just a little bit. All right, so now all we're going to do on this, we're going back to the main middle part of our anchor. We're just on the left side. We're just going to pull down just a few strokes of white, but just to the left of that middle white line we added. So I'm just lightly pulling in strokes. Now, right when you get to this curved area, you're going to start to follow that curve. So I'm just going to follow the curve, and I'm going to go up into this anchor. So this whole side of the anchor is going to have this highlight in it. So I'm just kind of following it up. You have a nice highlight. It almost gives it kind of an old look. All right, this old anchor has been well used. Now you're going to go to the tips. So from the tips, you're just going to pull it straight down throughout the whole arrow. So the very bottom of it isn't going to have much. It's mainly going to be coming from the top. And I'm pulling it all the way down. I mean, the same thing with the other arrow. Now from here, back on this bottom arrow on the right, I'm going to just do a really light line going right through the middle. I'm going to stop right there before I get to my line. And then everything to the left, so this top part, I'm going to pull that white through just this top part. It's very lightly. And then I'm just going to pull just a few straight down to the point and just very few going up, just very, very little, a few strokes. So when you're done putting that in, then you are done with your anchor. So this one's a lot of fun. It was very whimsical. Couldn't stress out too much. It's just a really fun little anchor with some bubbles coming up. Anchors away. So when you are done with your painting, we would love to see your masterpieces. Please tag us on Facebook, Instagram, #SplashArtClass. We'd love to see it. Remember to clean your brushes. Remember to check our calendar. We're always adding new classes. They're always fun. They're always different. Thanks so much for painting with us.